If you're serious about understanding how power, war, and survival worked before electronics, you already know communication was everything. Before we go any further, subscribe to the Global War Archive and share this video with someone who studies history the hard way, because what we're covering here is not trivia. These systems decided whether cities fell, armies survived, or empires collapsed. For thousands of years, humans transmitted intelligence across deserts, mountains, oceans, and hostile borders with nothing but discipline, design, and repeatable methods. If you're a historian or a survivalist, this knowledge is still usable today. This opening matters because ancient communication was not primitive, it was engineered. Most modern people assume pre-digital communication was slow and unreliable. That assumption collapses once you look at the evidence. Ancient systems were fast, redundant, secure, and often optimized for warfare. Some could move strategic information hundreds of kilometers in a single day without writing a single word. Others were designed to survive interception, sabotage, or, even illiteracy. These methods weren't improvised. They were standardized, trained, and enforced, which is why empires trusted them with life and death decisions. Relay runners and mounted couriers were, honestly, the backbone of empire-scale messaging. One of the most reliable methods was the human relay. The Achaemenid Persians built what many historians consider the first true state communication network, which was later admired and, copied by Rome. Under the Achaemenid Empire, mounted couriers rode between relay stations spaced a day's ride apart. Messages never stopped moving. Riders changed horses, not routes. This concept later evolved into Rome's cursus publicus, allowing imperial orders to cross Europe at a speed no rival could match. The practical lesson here is redundancy and infrastructure. If you were to apply this today in a low-tech survival or resistance scenario, you would not rely on one messenger. You would pre-position safe houses, rotate carriers, and standardize distances. Speed comes from preparation, not technology. Fire, smoke, and light were used as binary signaling systems, not vague alarms. Beacon systems are often misunderstood as crude warning tools. In reality, many were capable of transmitting specific information. Along the Great Wall of China, soldiers used combinations of smoke plumes by day and fire by night to indicate enemy numbers and direction. Similar beacon chains existed in the Mediterranean, allowing cities to alert allies across vast distances within hours. These systems worked because they reduced messages to clear, pre-agreed signals. One plume meant one thing, two meant another. This is early binary logic. You can still apply this today using mirrors, flashlights, or controlled fires with strict signal discipline. The rule is simplicity. If a signal can be misread, it will be misread under stress. Sound carried messages where visibility failed. In dense forest, fog, or mountainous terrain, sound replaced sight. War horns, drums, and coded whistles transmitted commands across battlefields and valleys. These weren't random noises. Each rhythm or tone meant a specific action such as advance, retreat, regroup, or flank. The advantage of sound-based communication is that it works without line of sight. The disadvantage is interception. Ancient armies compensated by changing rhythms regularly or combining sound with timing. For modern survivalists, this translates into using timed audio signals known only to your group, reducing the risk of outsiders interpreting them correctly. Written messages were often encrypted or hidden in plain sight. Contrary to popular belief, ancient people understood information security. The Spartans used the scytl, a simple transposition cipher that rendered messages unreadable without the correct rod diameter. Greek historian Polybius developed the Polybius square, allowing complex messages to be sent using torches in a grid system. In South America, the Inca used quipu, knotted cords that stored numerical and logistical data, readable only by trained officials within the Inca Empire. So, the lesson here is controlled literacy. Not everyone really needs to read the message. Actually, in fact, fewer people should. In practical terms, this means, well, limiting who understands your codes and making sure to rotate them regularly. Semaphore and mechanical signaling, really pushed pre-electric communication to its absolute limit. By the late 18th century, mechanical systems like semaphore towers allowed messages to cross entire countries in just minutes. Claude Chapp's semaphore network in France, for example, transmitted military intelligence using articulated arms visible through telescopes. So while this system actually came later than antiquity, it really does represent the peak of ancient logic applied at scale before the arrival of electricity. What truly matters here is the principle itself, not so much the era. Visual symbols, when combined with elevation, training, and a clear line of sight, can absolutely outperform runners under the right conditions. Elevated terrain, even now, remains a force multiplier. Every ancient communication system, without exception, relied on human reliability. Messengers had to memorize routes, signals, and rather grimly the penalties for failure. Many were executed for tampering or delay. This harsh reality, well, it produced accuracy. Messages arrived intact because the system demanded it. If you're thinking about applying this knowledge today, the real takeaway is accountability. Any communication system is only as strong as the discipline behind it. You need to train it, test it, and just assume failure will happen unless you plan against it. Modern systems, frankly, fail. Power grids collapse. Networks go down. History shows us that low-tech communication survives chaos, mainly because it doesn't depend on fragile infrastructure. Ancient methods were, in fact, designed for instability. That's precisely why they lasted for centuries. If this breakdown of ancient communication added something real to your understanding of history, please subscribe to the Global War Archive. Share this with someone who studies warfare or survival seriously, and, well, stay tuned. The past still has operational lessons, and we're here to uncover them.